Hello! Welcome back to the Bible Study Girl podcast. This is Sarita, but you probably know me as Bible Study Girl. And executive producing this podcast is none other than a 1, a 2, a 1, 2, 3, 4 Bible Study brother.
I knew you just had nothing in you that would not allow you to not be doing that.
I had to.
Anyway, it is I, Bible Study Brother, also known as Icarus Gray over at Gray Area Anime.
Check it out.
Check it out.
Yeah. And we also have on the mic with a little razzle dazzle, Bible Study Mama.
Hello, everyone. It's Bible Study Mama.
I really wanted you to drop a hot 16. Why am I using all of this rap terminology, you may ask? Great question. Because today we're going to talk to Bible Study Brother about his rap career. Wiki.
More things that I do.
I am my mother's child. First, let's start off before I ask you any questions about your rap life and the rap game. I would like to know why you denied me the right to be in a music video. The floor
You
is
are in
open.
a music video.
No.
It's called Stop, Drop, and Roll.
Okay.
You're in it.
Okay. As an audience member,
You're in the video.
it does not. That is not the role.
The camera focuses on you for a while. You're in it.
That is not the role I wanted.
That's in it.
You
And you made it.
No,
Amen.
that is not what I was looking for.
Because
I wasn't in the video either. I was there.
you are in the video.
But you also have not been campaigning since the beginning of his rap career to be in
Because
a video.
it wasn't like you were asking to act in a video or something orchestrated. You'd always be like, I just want to twerk in your video. Let me, like, that's why. Like, no, that's disgusting.
But if you're going to have twerking in the video, not twerk on you, but there are other.
Again, no. That's like, no.
Are you a twerk?
That would be like.
Would you have twerking
I
in your
forgot
video?
which podcast we were on.
No,
I
listen.
almost asked
No,
you
listen.
something.
Would you have twerking in your video anyway?
At
At
that
the
point
early
in
part
time,
of your rap career?
I don't know. Because,
The reason
Sex on the roof and shoot your mama.
listen, y'all, to be
That was
honest,
y'all.
the main reason I wanted to be in a video is like, if you feel like you need to have twerking in the video, it should be perfectly okay for me to be in the video twerking with one of your homeboys on the side. It should be fine.
I don't know why you want to like make me shoot you or other people around you.
Sex on the roof and
Like,
shoot your mama.
I don't
Okay.
have
So let's-
healthy habits in that regard.
Let's take
just
it back.
say
Let's go back to the big. When did you first know that you were going to be a rapper?
that. It was first time I rapped. It would have been the summer that our cousins stayed with us and they were working and all of that.
Mm-hmm.
And we were outside and there was a whole bunch of cuss words. I'll never forget this. It was something about the Golden Child. I don't know that we had if we had watched that movie or if I'd watched that movie with my father, and it's all I knew. And I just kept saying I was the bleep bleep golden child. The bleep bleep golden child.
You were rapping?
Yes.
Were they rapping too?
I don't remember. I think
Okay.
they were probably just having us doing kid stuff and
Yeah.
kids say the darndest things. And that happened then. And then it was 6th grade. One of my ex-friends at this point in time, I started writing. Like, I'd always wrote and I'd always done poetry. Well, not always, but around this time is when I started delving into poetry and everything. And there was just this desire in me to just kind of write. It was Cash Money was really hot at the time. I mean,
Were they taking over the 99s and the 2000s?
they were getting,
Okay.
yeah,
they were getting ready to?
They were getting ready to.
Okay.
Or they actually had, yeah, because
They already took it over?
that is
Okay.
6th grade for me,
All right.
fifth into 6th grade. So, and I just started writing. So then, like, I'm not saying at this point the desire, I guess, isn't there, but I knew I could rap or rhyme words well.
Okay. Do you remember the first rap you wrote?
Jesus, no.
Okay. Do you remember the first time you performed in front of a
Yeah.
crowd? Share it with the audience.
talent show in
Okay.
ninth grade. Like at this point, so we're skipping over a lot at this point. But so by ninth grade, I was in communications, and by this point, I could freestyle, which is just not writing anything down. You're just rapping off a thought process. And realized that I was actually quite naturally talented at it, which was a thing that at this point I was like, yeah, I can do this. Because nothing else came that naturally to me. Nothing. You know, and I know that it's probably because, again, I had practiced writing and all these different things that I didn't even notice I was nurturing something behind the scenes. So I had a communications teacher. Shout out to Miss Stacy McAdoo, the teacher of the year last year. And it was her first year teaching. And we had this lovely class where we got taught all of these different things. And go vote for LaRon McAdoo, city board.
Might be too late by the time this comes out.
Might be, but who knows? If you voted, I hope he won because I voted for him. And like I got introduced to hip hop in a different way because Bible study. Most of all we ever listened to was R&B. So rap was way too much for me, you know, so I didn't get to really do a whole lot of listening to rap or owning rap albums.
Was she even really listening to R&B though? Her?
We had a lot of
she
R&B.
was. I had a lot of R&B. I don't really recall her. Were you listening to a lot?
Was that your CD case?
Because we had
Or
it was
Mama's CD
It
case?
was mine.
Exactly. Like Mama had, like, who's buying all CD?
Can I say
Did you or her?
something? Just because she bought them doesn't mean she bought them for her. You know, she doesn't buy things for herself.
Well, that's why. Well, I didn't know a lot about it. Like,
So,
I mean, Boys to Men wasn't. I didn't like. It wasn't osmosis to me. Like, anyway.
Go
But
ahead.
so there was a lot of R&B. I didn't get to listen to a lot of rap. And so that year they were going to do a
It's
talent
just
show.
a lot of profanity, and I just didn't think that
says
was
the lady that had the, but the Lord had changed the
we'll
heart.
get there.
Yeah.
We'll
But
get
I'm just saying,
Yeah.
at his age,
Yeah,
that was not appropriate.
I understand.
I mean, either way, like there's still like it
Okay.
wasn't like you went through and like, well, okay, you can listen to this. Like you just said no. And I didn't have another, like a lot of people with their music stuff, they have another person who digs the craze, as they call it, and they tell you all the old people, this is KRS-One, LL Cool J, blah, 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 blah. I didn't have it. Like, because he was safe, I own Big Willie style twice.
Oh,
Big
Will Smith.
Yeah, because you can cuss, so I had to think about that. But he's the biggest at that time for not doing that.
Gotcha.
So that year in class, Mr. Mack was gonna have a talent show because he knew there was a lot of talented people in the class or whatever. And me and my childhood friends decided that we were gonna do it. And that was the first time that I was in front of a crowd rapping. It wasn't really a crowd. It was pretty much like just our family and friends for each person that was performing.
At Sufficient Grounds.
No,
No,
that's the second
it was
talent
at the
show.
Oh.
community center.
Yeah, Dunbar Community Center, I think.
I was there.
If I was there, you were there, sister.
Yeah,
I was there.
y'all were my only, because at that point
I feel like
I didn't
Grandma
tell
was there,
anybody
too.
else. Yeah, I don't know.
I feel like Grandma
we
was
had
there.
gone, like I had gone and got an airbrush shirt. We all had like little airbrush shirts on.
Yeah,
so
airbrush
this that
shirts
time.
were the rave.
And we performed. We didn't win because we didn't have enough fans there at the time. Because at the end, it was like, well, who do you think won? And it was about the cheering. The people that won was a group that I had gone to the junior high with and subsequently high school with. But that was the first time that we had got up there and performed together. So yes, I do remember my first time.
Okay. So you said I skipped over a lot of things. What do you want the people to know about your rap career between 6th grade and the 9th grade?
So I have to get the actual confidence to even want to do this stuff.
Okay.
And I didn't have it until 9th grade. So, you know, when I was doing all this writing, like I'm writing like online and writing all these different little raps and stuff, like I said, that I don't remember, that I never printed out or didn't recite back to myself. And feeling like, you know, there was so many people who were like, you can't rap. And people were freestyling, drumming on tables and all this other stuff at that point in time, but I never jumped in. And it's just something that I don't know what it was about 9th grade. And I, like I said, I know what it was. It was being in Miss McAdoo's class because was like, I know I can do this and I'm finna do it. Like, I'm not gonna let nobody tell me that I can't. So that just that part of finding the confidence that year with everything that I did.
Awesome sauce. So, do you think you needed the support of the group to really feel comfortable? Like, how did you feel that first time on stage? Was it like, oh, I'm home, or was it like, I'm nervous?
You're always nervous. I mean, I'm always nervous before I get on stage. It doesn't matter whenever I was acting. There's this feeling in my stomach of like, okay. And then when I'm there, I'm there. Like, it's just like second grade will never be something that doesn't fuel in my mind. I'm just, when I'm on the stage, I'm gonna do what I got to do. I'm in front of people. I'm not like, if I forget a line or something like that, I'll maneuver my way through it, but I don't show it, I guess. But it's just, I'm home. Like you said, I'm home after that. After the nervousness that everybody gets in their line, if they tell you they don't, you just home.
Okay. Let's talk about, okay, you're rapping with the group.
Mm-hmm.
Did you do your first album with the group?
Yeah.
Okay.
So, well, mixtape. Because technically I have not done an actual album.
Well, you know, I'm music illiterate.
Mixtape means at that point in time was we took beats.
Like, I listen to music, but
mixtape means we took beats from other individuals, and either you made like remakes of the song or you made your own version or whatever the case may be. And so in 10th grade, I did a mixtape with the group after so we didn't win the talent show, but Mr. Mac still brought us through to record a song. So it was their first song we did. It's called Club Banger. I don't know where it is. I think the only person that has a copy of it is one of my childhood friends, Brittany, because it was on cassette tape, because we're still in the transition between cassette to CD.
Yeah.
Which we're not that old, but we're at the end of that old. Excuse me, y'all. Sorry. It's gonna be a whole lot of random coughing, just congestion, allergies.
It's the season.
And so we recorded that song. It was called Club Banger. We actually got to go perform. He took us to Pine Bluff, and we performed like on this like long truck bed, and had to like pass microphones back between each other and stuff. It was like on a Saturday or something like that. And so in my mind at this point, we out of here. Just,
you're gonna get discovered,
signed, something like that.
Gotcha.
Like, just because that's how it's supposed to work. You put out a song, somebody hears it, they're like, oh, I want to put money behind you.
Yeah.
It's how I viewed all this stuff. And so we moved from there to the next year. We made a mixtape called Tales from the Gutter.
All right. Come through, Tales from the Gutter.
Just because, again, it's rap, it's hip hop. So I only know one aspect. I don't see myself in hip hop, so I rap like what I see.
Right.
Like, and I know that there were other people who were probably more similar to me in my life and who I actually was, but I didn't have it. I didn't have nobody for that time period. So when we do that, we end up like, I remember like a lot of people would listen and be like, well, I don't know why y'all let so-and-so on this song or whatever the case may be. Or you did your thing, or I like it, da-da-da-da. And, you know, it's just like the first time where you get that, you smelling yourself a little bit. And so, you know, with that, we ended up having kind of like some dissension, not between me and my friends, but me and certain sects. Because when we did this, we told a certain person, because I'm actually forgetting something. So between 9th and 10th grade, we decided that we were going to form a rap group. Mm-hmm. With that the rap group name was Caliber. That's just what we went with at the time.
All right.
And I don't think we gave ourselves that name. It was just different forms of, well, you kind of like well, shout out to my homeboy TJ's uncle, Try J. He's like, well, you kind of like a 22, you were 38. And like, you know, we were all different
calibers of guns. Okay, I get it now. All right.
So, in that, we try to like go and record this album. We was gonna sign contracts and everything we had going. My mother did not let us. We had to pay like $5 to record. Mother would never send this $5 to record. Well, we all need to sit down and see. And I'm like, but I want to do this. Like, I just want to record.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I ain't got no recording equipment here. It's over there, and we got beats and all this other stuff. So we go through all this stuff and like and ultimately ended up like in the end of like some a friendship, because there was a whole lot of beef or whatever created from it, in the sense that it's like, people were making it seem like, well, they ain't trying to da 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 da, and there was like this disconnect kind of thing.
What's your rap name at this point?
JG.
Okay.
I've been JG. Well, I've been JG for a while.
Okay.
Like this, like it wasn't until 2010 that I changed my name to my current. And we'll get there. So we, anyway, one of the friends, I said, well, hey, I don't want to do a rap no more, because this just seems to rap with you anymore, because this just seems to cause way more than what it's worth. So this in turn leads to us recording Tales from the Gutter, which wasn't like no diss tracks or nothing like that. But there was beef. Mm-hmm. Because Lord knows why. At this point, like, I never said I want to stop being your friend. I just said, let's not rap together anymore. And, we had that happen. And so like Tales from the Gutter comes, and, after that, I was just like, yeah, I don't know. Like, I had let you listen to it. This was the actual conversation. So you had heard Tales from the Gutter, and you and
my friend,
your friend at the time, was like, okay. Question. I've heard your poetry, or I've heard you talk before. Do you have to cuss so much? And I was like, I mean, no, but it gets my point across. And you're like, but other words. Isn't it more? I feel like it's not as skillful if you're. And my sister is a master manipulator for me in my mind. So,
but also, don't you think that if you had really honed into that, you could have been the one that came out like just with the strong lyrics, like, and people like
this is what you say, but I did. Like, it wasn't like, I took what you said and I sat down and I was like, and then you also said something about God. I don't remember what it was you said, but that happened, and my girlfriend / pre-wife at the time, her little brother, she was like, well, is this the kind of songs you want him to listen to, and blah blah blah. And I sat and I thought, because I'm not somebody to do something if I don't want to do it. Plus I'm like, dog, this is the one thing I got that I do. Like, this ain't your bag. Like, you don't know. But I made the decision for myself at that point. I was like, well, you're right. Like, if I can find a way to like take this and use what I got, like, I'm gonna try it, because it felt like a challenge at that time, man. Like I said, I knew I had more words and could be more poetic in my lyricism, because that was something that was important to me. Well, I didn't know it was lyricism at the time. I just wanted to be a better rapper. And so fast forward from 10th grade to 11th grade, I'm like, well, at this point there's the start of divorce and some other things going on in my life. And I was like, I just want to do an album or a mixtape at that point. And so I started to craft this album by myself, because I hadn't done anything by myself in the time that I've been rapping. I'd always been in a group, or always done something with other people. I hadn't pushed myself to write more than I wouldn't need to write but one verse for any song. So that's not like a lot of verses. So I started writing all these songs. I started crafting all these things. I said I wasn't going to cuss in the music, because this album was essentially something that I wanted to do, but it was also a proving and a dedication to those who were like, well, why do you have to do this? And I'm like, well, I'll show you I don't have to do that.
Right.
And it was also
and still
like,
be fire.
and I'm going to be me. And I remember God started to make everything fall in place. So like, I had a free recording program, Cool Edit Pro, which is now Adobe Audition, that I was able to use at the time on our desktop. And desktop mics were nothing but like $5, and I don't even know what we had a desktop mic for, or I like borrowed one or something like that. But anyway, so I took that. I was innovative in the sense that so I took a hanger and I wrapped the hanger around the desktop mic, which the desktop mics used to be like just a long little, just like I don't even know how to explain it, but they just should be real long, like not like
a pencil,
like a pencil or something like that. And so I took pantyhose from my room and stretched that over over the hanger to make filter thing, so it would catch your S's and all that other stuff. And I downloaded all the beats and I just started recording these different songs. I remember one song I wrote, Dry Tears, and I still remember these songs, but that's just because I've listened to these more recently and I still have this album. And it was about how mixtape, yeah. Thank you. And it was about how I don't really cry or show my emotions in a way that people would know what was going on with me at the time. It was about like kind of like trusting God and just when I remove myself, it's just more of Him, and like you just kind of have to believe and shift your things. And I did a lot of other songs on it. I had a lot of friends at the time who helped this come to fruition. Like, so I had one friend in my math class who could print the covers for CDs. And so we sat outside. He took a picture of me standing on these lockers that was outside this hallway, and he printed the CD things for me.
Look at these high schoolers, people walking.
We went to Big Lots, and it was like three of us, or me, you, and that friend. And we got, I was like, it was like 100 CDs for 20 or something like that. It was something crazy at that time. CDs used to be mad expensive. And then from there, I had another friend who had a CD burner, or a friend of a friend who had a CD burner. And so we were able to go and burn these CDs once I had finished everything and recorded all these songs. And then I put all this stuff together and I sold the CDs at school for $5. I sold every last one of them. Like, didn't have none left. Sold them to my teachers. My grandmother bought one. And it was like the first time I was like, oh, they like me for real. And think I'm kind of nice at it or whatever. Like teachers, one of my teachers, shout out to Miss Day, played the CD in her class. Like, and at this point, like I'm an upperclassman, so it's for freshmen. And I'm like, oh, that's you. Ah. Like, yeah. You know, my grandmother like would ride up and down the road listening to the CD with my aunt, who is very particular about what she listens to.
This is true. And
would listen to this CD. And my grandmother loved it, and who was also very particular and does not hold punches on anything.
Honey, she will tell you about
as y'all
yourself.
know, I don't mean any harm.
She will tell you about yourself, child.
And so, you know, that was a huge thing for me at that point in time, because I'd done all this stuff by myself, essentially. I mean, I did it with friends, but like I didn't do it with permission or the thought process. Like you didn't even know I was doing half this stuff. Like you would see me recording certain things.
I was living my own life. Like you were in high school, I was in college. I don't know what you do. Just like you didn't know what I was doing in my day to day. We were living two different. We're at two different stages.
Well, either way, like I said, we've had conversations later on that I'm like, well, I've done the things that you request at this point.
Well, I'm gonna interject here, just for a second. I can say without a doubt, you are one of the best writers I've ever read. Outside of you and your sister both have that gift. You have the gift of writing, and you had a composition book because you had my mom buy you a whole lot of composition books or whatever, and it was just reading them. I mean, a lot of time they just brought me to tears because it was so deep and inspirational. I really enjoyed reading a lot of them, a lot of them.
And that was my outlet at the time. for everything. And it was the first time I had an identity in something. Like, nah, fam, you can actually, like, you really are good at this. Did I know how to make that educational? No. And that was a big thing, a difficulty for me in terms of like pursuing stuff, because at that point in time, I didn't have much confidence in myself. Even doing stuff that I'm good at, I still didn't have confidence in myself. If I'm learning the negative habits that we talked about in another episode, like, my thought process was, if they are not happy with this, why should you do it? If this ain't something that they get into, they're only gonna look at you crazy when you get into it. So for every step forward you take, if it's not going to please or make people happy, what are you doing it for? So I couldn't even see the support in the way that I should have seen the support, but at the same time, it was also tainted by the fact, like, it don't matter. And I couldn't say that to myself.
Right.
In a way.
So how did you get to the point where, regardless, I'm doing me?
I was home from college and had failed miserably. I had a terrible breakup. I wasn't able to even produce music. Like, I had lost the muse because just being around her made me write more. Like, and it wasn't even something she was actively doing, but like, I only wrote 6 songs in my college career at that point in time from that one year. And then, I get back home, I'm feeling, like, you're just a failure kind of thing. And my mom was like, well, can't sit around here, you gotta go get a job. I'm not going to go to school, you gotta get a job. And I'm like, okay, all right, well, sure. And I go, my best man on my wedding, to look at UPS at the time, like, factory job. And we meet up with another one of my best friends, Myron. And, we just chopped it up, got his number, and then we go and hang out. And, like, I hadn't rapped for a while. I hadn't planned on even getting back into it. And, he rapped a little bit, and I felt like this mentoring teacher kind of wanting to rap, like trying to teach somebody how to do it. It's really not that hard, not knowing what God gave me at the time for the natural ability to write, blah, 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 whatever. Just thinking, like, no, it's really easy. You just rhyme things. It's not hard. And so we started rapping together, and we recorded like 100 songs or something like that within like a month or 2 months or something.
Y'all were on it.
Because we dropped our first mixtape, the ID mixtape, and there was like 22 songs on there. I have all these songs, by the way. And it was I don't know, it's like at every turn, and we started trying to kind of get it back together. Like, even then, like, it was still the fight of, well, how is this going to actually provide for you? And I can't answer that, because artistry and trying to build towards it is something that you kind of have to, like, well, I got to build the fans. I got to get to this point. I got to get to this point. And that don't satisfy a parent who's like, well, you ain't in college.
Right. Let me ask you this. Is your rap name still the same, or you changed at this point?
No, in 2010, I changed my name from JG to Icarus Gray.
All right. Can you explain to the people what Icarus Gray means? Because when we start off the podcast, I say, here's Bible Study Brother. And you're like, yeah. And I'm also known as Wicked Icarus Gray. So can you break that down?
So I changed my name because at that point in time, due to daddy issues, I was like, I need something that's mine.
But that's also his. He loves Greek mythology.
And that was also a part of it.
That's part of it.
In building the things, it was still something that, so that was his favorite story. Mm-hmm. And so inherently it's mine, or one, well, it's not my favorite, but it's one of my favorites.
Right.
And so when I thought about the name, because I thought about the aspirations of things that I wanted to do, and a lot of times they turn it into a tragedy. And I'm like, well, you don't, I said, the thing that's not tragic about the story is that even though you're telling me that, if I do this, this will happen, I don't know that. Like, if I can get a moment to touch the sun or reach up there, get like life is wax wings, and regardless, like your wings are constantly melting. You're going to an ultimate end game or whatever the case may be, and I'm like, that don't mean don't try. And I know, like, at that point it cost him his life, so on and so forth. But for me, it was like, it's about the goal. It's about the trying. It's about going for the things no matter what, because if you can touch the sun, touch it. Like, there's something to aspire to. So.
Who is Icarus Gray today? We talked about your backstory. Who are you as a lyricist today? How do you use that gift? I will say, give you kudos. Our cousin consistently tries to come for Icarus Gray and freestyle battles, and it is a joy. Because our cousin gets smoked every time, and the family is always like, just stop trying. Even his best friend like walks away, like when he's battling, like, please bro, stop. I'm like, you need to come in here and help your friend, because Icarus is demolishing him. Man. So where are you now in your rap journey, other than guaranteeing me a role in your next video?
Right.
Where are you in your musical journey?
Currently it's non-existent, in the sense that it's like,
what?
I've been trying to create an album for the past 10 years. An actual album where all of the beats are mine or made by somebody that I fool with. And first pitfall in that currently was getting married like 1 year, and it's like I had to kind of divert attention, and we were trying to do things simultaneously at the time, but given the strain of everything of like standing on my own, it caused like a lot of friction between me and close people to me at the time. And after that, I was like trying to do some things. I like get a song. It's harder now because, like I said, I guess it's the self-care aspect of it, and learning that, and even thinking about that now, because a lot of times I think about everything I can't do. It's just like, well, if you ain't working, or if you ain't doing this, or trying to put all your time into this, your mama gonna look at you crazy. She gonna, well, boy, I want my grandbabies, or your wife is probably not gonna, and like, so, or whatever the case may be, in a lot of ways. And then I'm also like, well, I need to have a certain amount of time. I tunnel vision myself to the time, and not having the time and sitting, and then I sit and I'm like, well, do you still got it, or do you are like, and it's like, well, at this point you're a 30-year-old or 30-some-year-old rapper who has not done enough to get in front of people because you haven't put in that level of work because of your own self-esteem issues or whatever the case may be. So, and I think about like, well, what are people gonna say? Like, oh, bro, you still trying to rap? And like, that's where I am now. I'm trying to get past that, and I do like the gray area has been coming for, because gray area anime isn't just a name that I like. It was literally me basically keeping the name of the album that I wanted to keep going. So,
right.
So today, like I said, it's currently, excuse me, kind of non-existent, because there's so many things I need to do it.
Do you think you're gonna get back in, or you?
Yeah, okay. That is my ultimate goal, because I know that if I just do it, because at the end of the day, like, I feel like if I don't, then I'm foregoing or forsaking my writing in general.
I got you.
So I know I got to do it, and I will do it.
Thank you so much for sharing your rap journey with us. It's always a pleasure to hear.
I mean to say, like, spiritually, there is something that I know that I need to say, and that's always been the case. It's why I was so, because I didn't tie anything spiritual, and this was just an interview that
you
had
did.
Nothing to do, kind of, but
you did. Here's the thing, I think we over spiritualize. I'm saying that in air quotes.
Yeah.
Your life is a spiritual life.
Yeah.
Like. Period. We talked about you changing the way you wrote your lyrics because it is a reflection of, like, I mean, and that's something I want to just be clear about on this podcast. We are Christians. We love Christ. But I think sometimes we get too in our heads and in our bags. Like everything does not sound like a sermon. This is your life, bro. So I just wanted to tap in.
Well,
it's about tapping. It's about tapping into your gifts and using the gifts that He's given you. Yeah. So it is spiritual.
But there was evolution.
We didn't have a verse and a scripture for every point, but
okay, well, it's true. But I just wanted to say more like where I am now is understanding that,
right,
and understanding the talent that was given. Because no matter what anybody says, I know what is, and I know what happens when I'm in front of people.
As we sit right now, you are not Bible study girl, but you are the only one with the mic stand and I don't even know what it's called, but
it's a filter.
A
so
filter.
It catches your.
Okay, so I don't have a filter to catch my, and I'm the talent. So that's all I got to say about that. So don't. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Most times you don't really need these. Like
How come I don't?
We just don't. I just have it because this is my setup.
Good morning. How come I don't?
Because you don't. Because like we don't have a lot of like we're not like trying to de-S something. I'm not like we're not gonna come back re-record double that.
We should though.
And he sure is not going to be editing it.
He sure is not. No,
because raw, uncut, and unfiltered.
That could go so many ways.
Wow.
Okay.
But anyway,
let's not go there.
I'm not.
There are
sex on the roof and shoot your mama.
Side note: this was a song that I created because trying to explain anything that wasn't.
I think your dad created it.
No.
He rapped it.
It's definitely me.
Are you sure about this?
With him.
We were all in the car
he
together.
He said. Then
you made it a song.
I made it a song. But he said, well, she said it first, did she not? Because you said, I don't want to hear.
I don't want to hear that sex on the roof and shoot your mama stuff.
Okay.
And I'm like, what? And so we're sitting there and I was like, that sex on her better than shoot your mama.
But it was a running. It was a running.
And it was like a joke because of
in our family. It was
just like
running.
So anytime we would listen to something like, oh, you want to hear that sex on her better than shoot your mama? Hey.
Yeah, that's what we want to hear, Mama.
Like, yeah, because that's what we're listening to. Because it's like she's so, like, for as in touch with her cousin as she was when you were younger, she acts like the
See
world
how the Lord
just
can take that taste? He can take that taste right out of your mouth, and you can't even
took the recipes,
right.
not only the taste,
and you can't even tolerate being around it. Was like, that enough church for you?
I ain't gonna. Yeah, I guess so. You know, like even though we're not gonna talk about the playground, but moving on. Okay. You know, they went on the roof. Anyway, blog posts. What? Oh, origin stories. Anyway, blog posts every day at BibleStudyGirl.com. You can hit us up on Instagram at _BibleStudyGirl, on Twitter at BibleStudyGirl2, on Facebook at BibleStudyGirl, and then email us if you want to be a guest or you just got a testimony or things you want to share at BibleStudyGirl2019 at gmail.com and at GrayAreaAnime at gmail.com as well. So remember, it's not you preach, they preach. Ficky. She or he preach, but we preach.
And until we meet again, boom, boom, boom. Keep preaching. Boom, boom, boom. Hey.
If only y'all knew what was coming in 2021. Prepare yourselves.